All right, what's up? Cowboy here, 8:30 a.m. EST, and this is June the 3rd, 2024. And we do have quite a morning coming up here. Looks like Bitcoin might be ready to move, and we're going to take a look at the chart here. I actually called this move last night over on Twitter, excuse me, aka X. So I called this out for everybody to see, but there was a move up and the algos were definitely liking longs. So this candle right here was the move up. And again, just go check out X. It's there for everybody to see, just so you understand the power of algorithms, right? Now, a lot of people think that algorithms are something where you have to understand how to computer code and do all that kind of stuff. And it's simply not true. Anybody who has ever traded using any kind of system that they always use every time is trading with algorithms. So don't be scared of them, right? If you drive to the store, that's an algorithm. So that's one thing to understand. And we teach people how to build reliable algorithms, reliable trading systems that can help them extract money from the markets on a regular basis. And Zap QR code, top right-hand corner if you want to see what that's about. But let's go ahead and get into the markets here. As I put on X, we're just looking for price to go ahead and beat some of these tops, right? It's got to reclaim some of these highs that we've seen locally going back about a week and a half, right? So we've got the current the current peak right now. It's negotiating, and it does appear that it may break that, which is about 64 or 69,000. 500, 69.5. So once that's broken, the next target we're looking at is 70,700, then 71,970, basically 72. And then we're going to make our way up to these higher targets, which are 72,750 and the all-time high right below 74,000. And as soon as price breaks 74,000, if it doesn't reject, if it's not a fake out breakout, then price is probably going to go up. And we've seen price more than double in a very short amount of time after this post-halving doldrum breakout, right? So price really could go, within a very short amount of time, a matter of weeks, could break at 100,000 if it really takes off as it did in the past. One thing to understand about Bitcoin, though, is that each of the halving cycles has shown us that the percent gains have been smaller. However, after the halving, those percent gains actually seem to be consistent. And then what happens after that is what seems to be changing. So, and also what happens before that. But this consistent multiple after the halving breakout, after the all-time high breakout post-halving, that does tend to be very strong. So we are looking at a consolidation here going back to March 10th, more or less. It depends how you map it out. But long story short, we're going back about 3 months. And the longer these consolidations in a bull market, the stronger the move up. And I have my next stop-off targets at 80 and 88,000. I've done this before, but it's been a minute since I've done it. So I'm going to show you how I got these. Just a little bit of the Algo Factory sauce. And this is pretty standard, what I'm about to show you. This is pretty standard in trading. We're going to use a Fibonacci extension to grab those targets because there is no history on which we can base our price action, right? So usually we look back into the past to look at price action to determine what might happen. But as you can see, price has never been higher than it is as of this year, right? So we're going to go into what's called price discovery, where we simply just don't know what's going to happen next. So as this happens, excuse me, that's not the right extension. Give me 1 second. Okay, here's the extension. I could do what I did before. That's a very high time frame look, and those targets would be acceptable, but I'm going to map out this more recent extension. And that's where we're going to get 80 and 88 from. So we take the Fibonacci extension tool. I've got my extension tool built into the retracement tool, and that's going to put our targets here, 272 and 618. So this is the best way, in my opinion, to look for targets into unknown territory. Because when there's unknown territory, there's nothing on which we can base our thesis, right? Well, actually, there is not nothing. There's Fibonacci extension tools. So that's how we get this number, all right? So let's take a break from the charts. We do have some people asking questions from the charts. they want to see some charts. We'll get to as many of those as we can in the short time. What we do over at Algo Factory is we have plenty of time to take a look at whatever chart you want. So if you become an Algo Factory member for the entire hour, this 10 minutes here, and the hour afterwards in the private live lab, we will give you all the charts you want to see. And we do have an individual who he's actually, if you're watching the videos I put out every afternoon, the pre-recorded ones, he's one of the individuals, Thinkfree, who has given us a lovely testimonial. And we're going to have him on the show this week, and we're going to go over his algo as a group, provided that he's okay with that. I'm pretty sure he is. So that'll be interesting. It's probably going to happen this week or next. Depends on how soon he gets back to me. So Monday today, 7:45 a.m., we do have some data coming out in 15 minutes, and it's called ISM Manufacturing PMI. So what we're looking at is we are looking at just manufacturing data, right? So if this is strong, that means dollar strong. That means a lot of stuff goes down, stocks go down. Everything trades inverse to the dollar, right? So if you have data showing that manufacturing is doing well, that means the economy is strong. When the economy is strong, that means they're probably not going to cut rates anytime soon because they need to hike the rates to weaken the economy to tamper down inflation or tamp down on inflation. So if these data at 7:45 a.m. come in strong, then everything against the dollar will go down. Okay, so understand that if you're in any kind of trades while this is happening, there's a good chance you're going to get hurt or you're going to do really well. But whatever it is, you probably won't be able to predict it. So I tend to wait to get into short-term trades until these data come out, and then I enter the trade. Now, there is another method I use to try to take advantage of that. Algo Factory knows what it is, but I can't share it here. Again, that's another Algo Factory benefit to understand how I do trade the news, and I have a way of usually limiting my losses, if not eliminating them altogether. Okay, so you got the Swiss franc. So at 2:30 a.m. EST, you got their CPI coming out. CPI is the inflation metric, which is the big number right now. Okay, in the world, everybody wants to see the inflation number. JOLTS job openings, 10 a.m. EST tomorrow. So this is going to have to do with the employment. And again, a strong amount of job openings, dollar strong, everything goes down against the dollar, at least temporarily. These moves tend to be over within a short period of time, unless it's like a CPI and it's a very strong miss, or a super, super strong miss on these data. Usually it's just the market kind of shakes up and then goes back to what it was doing. What do I mean by a miss? Well, if you look at JOLTS job openings or anything else, you can see there is a forecast number on the top of the screen. There's a forecast number. And if the actual number is really close to the forecast, that means that more or less what's happened in the market is priced in. It's expected. So if there's a big miss, that's what's going to cause the market to move a lot. Now we do have Aussie GDP happening at 9:30 p.m. EST. So watch out if you're trading the Aussie. This all, by the way, will affect crypto and every other market, especially if it's USD news, which is where I focus. That will affect the entire market, especially the CPI number and the FOMC number. So you got to watch out for that. Non-farm employment change, that's an employment number. So again, good employment, strong dollar, weak everything else, at least temporarily. And then we have some more services, final and ISM. So this is like the manufacturing number that's coming out today. Same story. You have the BOC press conference. So if you're trading the Canadian dollar, this is probably going to be strong. Again, you got your rate statement and press conference. So this is their version of the FOMC, which is the US. It's when the Fed talks about what rate they're going to establish. So you want to pay attention if you're trading the Canadian dollar. That could be a very strong day. You got your rate statement, overnight rate, and the press conference. I probably would stay away from that until that press conference is over, unless I was using the method we talked about earlier. We talked about that we didn't talk about, right? We only talked about it at Algo Factory. Thursday, 6:15 a.m., some Euro data, very similar to the Canadian data the day before. So big stuff on the Euro at 8:15 a.m. EST on. So be very careful with that. We got, let's see here, USD unemployment claims. That's every Thursday, but a strong miss will really move the market. And again, if the unemployment is low, that means strong dollar. Everything goes down against the dollar. Unemployment is high. that means weak dollar, and everything will go up against the dollar, at least temporarily. And then you have the ECB press conference, again, just like the Canadian dollar, and just like when the FOMC does their thing, when they talk about the rate, there's always a press conference afterwards where everybody is really micro-analyzing every single word said. In this case, I imagine by Christine Lagarde. Now, you do have more data from Canada, the Canadian employment change happening June 7th. And then at 6:30 a.m., which is 8:30 a.m. EST, that's the Canadian data and the USD data. We have a lot coming out right there on Friday. So that can shake up the markets quite a bit. So just a look at the week ahead. For all of you requesting charts, the time is up. If you really want me to guaranteed look at whatever charts you want to see, go ahead and become a member of Algo Factory. Zap the QR code, top right-hand corner. We are extremely inexpensive. I don't think you understand. At $50 a month, our competition's charging hundreds of dollars per month. And if you get in before we raise the price, and we will raise the price to match our competition, you will be able to have that $49.99 grandfathered in. You'll be able to keep that price. So, if you don't do this, you're missing out. If you're in there gambling on SHIT coins and crypto and all that stuff, that's not going to last. That's not going to last. Crypto market's good for like a year, year and a half maybe. You're going to have some fun and think you're going to get your times 100. Most people lose their money gambling on those coins anyway. Come learn to be a real trader. Come learn how to trade like a professional. That's at algofactory.tech. Zap the QR code, pull on your big boy pants. Come on, learn how to be a real trader and stop gambling SHIT coins. We will see you on the flip side.
Join us or die.